So there's a little bit of good news. They found, hopefully, they found Charlie Kirk's assassin. And with all these people celebrating online, which is absolutely disgusting, people celebrating of Charlie Kirk's murder, his assassination. Here in the state of Florida, the Florida Commissioner of Education, Anastasius, and see if I can try to pronounce his last name, Komotautsis. It's a name of Greek ancestry. It's kind of hard for me to pronounce, but nonetheless, he said he's going to investigate any teacher that is posting on social media any kind of celebration of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Obviously, this is unprofessional, but it's also very telling of who the person is. I mean, do you want to employ somebody that's going to celebrate the murder of someone who's just, giving out their political speech? I mean, if they're so partisan and radicalized that they think this is a good idea, that political violence is good. What it is we have a problem with our education system. And a lot of teachers are well-meaning people. And a lot of them, I would assume most of them would not be celebrating right now, because I think most teachers are smart enough to see the disgusting aspect of that. But we do have a few that are. And here in Florida, something's being done about it. They're being investigated, and there's going to be hopefully disciplinary action that's being taken on some of these individuals that are truly disgusting. But the problem originates in the university system. And these top universities that have adopted the nihilistic philosophy, the anti-reasoning philosophy, that ideology, that philosophy permeates throughout the entire education system. It permeates into sciences. So we get this, you get some of the pseudoscience, like two men can have a baby, or you get the, string theory, right? String theory is just totally detached from reality. You also have a lot of very ineffectual people. Because if you're not teaching reasoning, if people are not being held accountable to reason, they're not developing the reasoning faculty. And all these emotions, the frustration, the depression, the anger, the violence, these are all symptoms of people being ineffectual. And I think that is the main driver of violence from the left. It's not so much that it's encouraged, which it is. I mean, you get these talking heads calling the right fascist or like Hitler, yada, yada, yada. And that is certainly adding fuel to the fire. And also, it gives them psychological cover. I mean, you get these mainstream figures. It's like they feel like they're getting the backing of a pseudo majority. It's not really a majority, but when you have the establishment seemingly on your side, it gives you the impression that you're on the side of what you think is right. Again, obviously, this is not the case. I mean, if you go out and talk to people outside of major cities, outside of the blue cities, the vast majority of people don't like what's going on. Most of the people voted for Donald Trump, and they're disgusted about what happened a couple of days ago, with what happened to Charlie Kirk. So these leftists, they're ineffectual. They can't get their lives straight, and they're frustrated, and some of them get angry. And they believe that the system is backing them, which in part it is. You got the Soros, you got other billionaires that are funding this, that are fueling this. You got the mainstream media. You had a lot of politicians like Maxine Waters, for example, that have been pushing this. So, not to mention the Soros district attorneys also that have been put in there. So yeah, of course, between not being able to think effectively and being frustrated and angry about their daily lives, also they're being encouraged to be violent as well. But I think the main driver is being ineffectual. And the solution to that is number one, accountability, which is what our Florida Commissioner of Education is attempting to do, which is what all the states need to be doing, but also we need to reintroduce reasoning and integration of reality, of your observations, and you work your way up through the scientific method. You build concepts that are attached to reality. You use logic and reasoning to build up more abstract concepts, and you develop an intellectual framework from that, and then there you develop your education, you develop your sciences, and then culture and everything and politics are downstream from that. So that's the key. This is happening. Charlie Kirk got assassinated because there was an absence of reasoning. Because this guy that killed him was not able to think rationally. This is an ineffectual person. He came from a middle-class background. He had on the surface, it doesn't look like there was any problems with his family, but he was not able to think. And that was because the university system and our education system and our entertainment media has been pushing this nihilism. And then, he's ineffective. He doesn't know how to deal with people properly. He doesn't know how to disagree with somebody. This is an act of frustration. This is an act of anger. Anger is an expression of really frustration. It's an expression of being ineffectual. And you got talking heads that were encouraging it, calling conservatives fascists. It's a fascist takeover. Just adding fuel to the fire. So, like I said, the solution is accountability to reasoning. We need logic and reasoning. That is what's going to prevent more of these situations that, unfortunately, I don't think the tide's going to turn anytime soon. Unfortunately, I think things are going to get worse before they get better. But that's the solution, is the practicing of thinking by a means of reasoning.